This is how Droneracer looks when he flies the wing. If you can fly this in acro mode, then you're certainly capable of flying this. Not sure if it works in reverse. By the way, I'm practicing ventriloquism, because it's another weird word. Of course, not as weird as gazebo. But if I am wrong about this, then our expert will have to wear a lipstick.
Well, I guess.
I wanted to build a wing for cutting ribbons with the quads. This is one of the coolest things you can do in FPV with your friends. Attach a couple of long paper ribbons to the wing and let your drone guys to chase and cut them off. As a complete wing beginner, noob, a shit pilot, and in all the meanings, the little I knew that this was only the start of my wing journey. To save some money, I wanted to build a wing that uses regular drone racing 6S batteries, 5-inch racing motors, props, and flight controller. So basically like a racing drone with servos. And these weird things, how they call them. Wings. A huge warning, guys, this is serious. For some reason, everyone I know who started flying FPV wings after FPV drones, all of them eventually quit FPV completely. I don't know what's the deal. Hopefully it's not gonna happen with me. Not gonna call the names, but if you're one of these guys watching this, hey, FPV is much more fun than it used to be 5 years ago, and it also way simpler. Come back, I'm telling you. But before we start building a wing, let me call to my expert. Bring.
Hello? Ivan, this shit doesn't work.
Fucking pathetic.
Huh? Lamination equals speed. Hey, come on, man. What the fuck are you doing with my plane? Get out of here.
Oh, you alright, baby? He didn't hurt you, did he? Hope he never comes back.
As you're watching this video, guys, of me building it and breaking it, try to guess how fast it can go. Then leave your guess in the comments in miles per hour. The closest guess will get a premium shit pilot shirt. Well, if the shipping to your place is possible and not too expensive, because I'm poor. I'll give you guys 3 days. You cannot edit your comment, this won't count, and you have only 1 guess per person. Bots don't count. If we have close calls, then the first is the winner. This is not a full build video because it'd be kind of boring, and the building wing is pretty straightforward. But let's quickly walk through all the pain that fixed wing guys have to experience. The first thing that I learned that I have to have is kinda crazy, a CA glue accelerator.
I have never seen that in my entire life.
CA glue is fast, but apparently it's not fast enough, okay? So when you put together your foam frame, you put this CA glue, and then you spray this stuff on top of it, and then it hardens in like 3 seconds. Pretty cool. So if you see someone carrying this in his toolbox, he is a fixed wing guy. It was hard to find in the local store, so Amazon link in the description, together with the rest of my setup. The most controversial thing you might want to have is a laminator, although it's optional. It for sure increases durability and rigidity of your foam frame, but it's such a pain in the ass. It's not too hard to apply for the mostly flat frames. You see, it kind of gives like a nice glance, and it's like, it's really good now. But if you have something like this with a lot of curves and weird corners, there are plenty of videos out there of how to apply it, but in short terms, there is a glancy part and there is the hazy part. So the hazy part goes on your foam, and then you just carefully iron it. I use just regular home iron, although it might require some cleaning after. And you kind of need to guess the correct temperature here so it doesn't burn your foam. This was about 3 hours work, and this 10 hours. The next thing you might want to have that Droneracer certainly not carrying around. Popsicle sticks. They're going to be useful for all kind of repairs. You see, I broke my battery mount and then I just glued these 2 sticks here. I also made some sort of a stiffener for the middle of the frame, and now it doesn't bend in the middle in the air when you do hard maneuvers, and it just increases stability. Sandpaper, who would have thought? Before you glue together the foam parts, or you glue foam to the carbon, you gotta do this to the foam. Quick, 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 quick. Otherwise it will come apart. Not all the foam, but this one, yes. This one was good actually without the sanding. Of course you don't sand the whole thing, but the surfaces that should be glued together, and the slots where carbon ribs should go in. Wheel weights. We don't have wheels, but we do have CG. Center of gravity is a thing that Droneracer don't usually care about. On the wing, you will have to adjust center of gravity forward or back, and you can use these sticky weights. Most of the frames has CG marks. You kind of just put your fingers there and see if it balances well with the battery in. Servo motors. These are little things that move your control surfaces. The ones that came up with this frame gave up on me pretty much right away. One just stopped working. Then I tried a bunch of cheap servos from Amazon with metal gears, but all of them had a little wiggle, which can't be good. So they work, but I wanted to try something better. And the same sad story about individual ESC for the motor. It was hard to find the cheap ones. I had this old 6S from 4 years ago, but modern drone racing motors became so fast that this ESC just overheats and shuts off. I tried to put heatsink on it, gave it a good airflow, nothing helps. It still shuts off and I had to do emergency landing over and over. And then, all of a sudden, Emax came to rescue.
Calm down, bitch.
They sent me a couple of these cheap ESCs, but they work flawlessly for the motors I choose, no problems at all. With no airflow, with no extra heatsink, they just work on 6S heads-up motors 2207 1960 kV, and they have good servo motors. They sent me HV version of these servos, which will be available in the near future, but this 5V servo, I believe it will work just fine. There are metal gears, no wiggle, and they're digital, which means faster response and more torque. So, thank you very much, Emax. They're not sponsoring the whole video, but they should.
Nope, not gonna do it.
A wing or a plane can fly without the flight controller, and this is actually how OGs are doing it. But flight controller allows your crappy, all twisted and horribly balanced wing to actually fly straight and smooth. We're still talking about full acro, so you can do whatever you want, just you don't have to do micro corrections and you don't need to do super precise trimming. So when you leave your sticks for a second, for example, if your wing is angled like this, it will still fly straight, keeping the same angles. You can even change your throttle up or down, but the wing will still go straight like a bullet without... I can whistle, I promise, just microphone is not picking it up. Long time ago, Speedebee sent me this tag, and this is actually pretty cheap for the modern days. It supports Betaflight, Inav, and even Autopilot. It has 8 motor outputs, so can easily hook up some servos. And it has plenty of UART ports for receiver, GPS, video system, whatever the fuck you need. And it also allows tuning with your phone with Bluetooth, which is quite handy, but kinda sorry, Brian. I didn't have a chance to put it on the drone, but let's go with the wing. Sorry, Speedebee. To mount the flight controller on the wing, you gotta get a little creative. I use some plastic standoffs, press them inside the foam and glued in, and there we go. Servo motors can pull some serious electrical current, usually 5 or 8 volts. Maybe you can power them up from flight controller, but probably not worth risking. I use this little board to power servos. It's quite handy and not too expensive. It can power up to 6 servos and takes straight LiPo voltage as input. If you have flight controller specifically for planes, then you can plug your servos right here and don't worry about that, but I didn't. Also, this board can power up HV servos, depending on how you solder these jumpers. The wiring diagram is quite simple. It's all right here. I believe you can handle that. Very annoying thing with the FPV wings. Look at that. My flight controller is here on this wing, for example, and the video system is here. And then you have to put together such a long wires. It's just annoying. And on this wing, the servos are so far from the flight controller, the wires just can't reach. So I had to buy like a servo extensions. If you have CA glue accelerator and also you're buying servo extensions, you're done. You're a wing guy now.
Yep, I've done it. I'm guilty. I'll probably do it again.
The frame choice. First I built Sonicmode AR Wing Classic, and then we broke it, and then I rebuilt it again. It's pretty durable. It doesn't have a separate elevator, so it uses the same servos and control surfaces for pitch and roll. It's fully acro capable. I think like maximum roll is like 700 degrees per second or something that I got from full manual mode. But pitch is a little bit more dicey because it doesn't have elevator and it's not that long. AtomRC Penguin is a little more interesting, but less durable. It has a separate elevator, so you kind of have more control and more stability, and you can even have like a differential thrust for yaw, because it has 2 motors. This frame is also longer, so it's kind of more pitch stable, and I was able to tune it really good for whatever acro I can put in. This one is about 8 to 10 minutes of count flying on drone racing battery, and this is 6 to 7 minutes because it has 2 motors. But you can always put a way bigger battery in. I just had no interest in that. Both of these planes with 533 motors are incredibly fun and easy to fly, throttle responsive and enormous acro and precision capable. Remember, you should still try to guess how fast the black one can go and put it in the comments. The software part. As I was about to flash Inav, I opened Betaflight real quick and saw this. So I can have CAC mod on my wing. At that times, I had no idea that this opens a gigantic can of worms. To make it work, I had to do a lot of new coding, testing and braking. And huge thanks to CTZ Snooze who helped me to review a bunch of black boxes from my wings. Now there's a way to flash my fork of Betaflight for the wings specifically, but I can't recommend it yet. It at least requires a separate video about all the changes there and how to deal with them. I wanted to pack all this information in this video, but our expert told me that it's not smart.
This is bullshit.
So, you know, if I'm not lazy, but if you're super keen to put Betaflight on your wing, you can reach to me on Discord, on Facebook, or on my Patreon. I usually reply to everyone, but on Patreon, you know, I reply like harder. Why I didn't put Inav?
Cause fuck you. That's why.
Eventually, I'll give it a try, of course, but everyone flies Inav on wings, so... A couple of tips for Droneracers like I am, who are going to try wings. You will be dealing with a lot of shit-talking coming to you from your fellow Droneracers. They're just jealous, and that's fine. Here's the trick, you just tell them that you're building a wing so that they cut ribbons off it, and now your name is clear. Launching the wing can be scary, especially for the first time, because you don't even know if it can fly. But if it can fly, then there is not much wrong you can do actually. Just toss it forward at 45 degrees with good amount of throttle, make sure your fingers are not getting on the way of propellers. Don't like tilt or rotate your wing while you're throwing. Be ready for a couple of seconds of line of sight if for some reason you still tilt it a little bit and it goes on the side. People use auto launch and fancy shit, but it just goes there. Put your goggles on and start flying. Of course, you do everything here at your own risk, but this one, for example, is even easier because you grab it at the bottom, props are already ahead, and then you just launch it that way at 45 degrees. This one's a little harder because you need to grab it on the side so that you don't cut yourself with the prop when you launch it. Anyways, this is not a launching tutorial. You actually shouldn't be listening to me because I am a noob. With a wing, you should always be on throttle, especially when you're doing sharp maneuvers. This kind of contradicts with our drone racing instincts when we just drop throttle when we need more precision. Here, when you drop throttle, it slows down, and then we do sharp maneuver, it can stall and just actually drop. So just remember that this thing needs at least a little bit of speed to be somewhat operatable. Landing is also super easy. Make sure you got big field with a nice grass. Line yourself up first, then slow down, and then just slide on the grass. And you can do a couple of practice circles before the landing. So you almost land, but don't land, then throttle up and turn around. Just make sure that you throttle up before the turn. Otherwise, with a lack of speed, it's not gonna be a good turn. Yaw is funny because there is no yaw, so to turn you need a roll and then pitch. I am still jamming my yaw stick like crazy because I'm coming from drone racing, but it's not doing anything, it's fine. So nothing here is difficult if you know how to fly FPV drones. And I gave my wing to fly to a few of my drone racing friends just to see how that goes. Neil's in the air.
So are you nervous? I mean, after that explanation, because before this,
damn, you know, like I mean, you know, shucks.
more, yeah, good.
Same flies. The first few seconds of your first flight will kind of feel weird because it's a completely different dynamics from the racing drone. It kind of not as sharp and it might be bumpy, especially if you have some wind, but you'll be fine. Just don't quit the whole hobby after this like other guys. I warned you. Don't forget about flight controller orientation in the software, otherwise... And you do everything at your own risk, as always on this channel. I still have this on my fingers. Thank you very much for watching, hope you enjoyed it. As always, like, subscribe, check my Patreon, and don't forget to leave a comment with your guess about speed, with another comments. Leaving other comments is legal. And see you in the next video, if I'm not lazy.
Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh, yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah.